What is going on, comic book fans? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another Wednesday pull list, which is your hype video for New Comic Book Day, which is tomorrow, which is going to be Wednesday, July 24th of 2024. And guys, it's another big week. It's always a big week with me. 20 books on the pull list this week. That's right, 20. We're not 22. We're not closing in on 30. No, we just hit that 20 mark. There were 2 books that I did read that I was not supposed to read because I guess they got delayed to next week. But I did have to read something like 16 books this weekend, which wasn't too bad, but it was still a bunch of books that I had to read. But guys, this is your hype video for New Comic Book Day. I'm going to go over my favorite covers, my favorite stories, and my favorite comics coming out this week on New Comic Book Day. I just want to get you pumped and excited for the books that I'm excited about. And just in case there's a book that I'm reading and I'm enjoying and you're not reading, those are the books that I want to get you guys to go to your local LCS or go online and pick up. So let's not waste any more time, guys. Let's dive into this video with checking out my pull list. Alright guys, you already know how many books are on my pull list because I already told you there are a total of 20 books on my pull list, but you guys can't see what those books are, so let me go ahead and throw them up on screen right now. Guys, like I said, there's a total of 20 books on my pull list. There are 4 new number ones. Why am I adding that many new number ones to my pull list is beyond me. But guys, if we break down this list a little bit more, there are a total of 6 DC books, 2 Marvel, and 12 indie titles. 12 indies. I'm reading so many indies and so many of them are so good. So if you guys are new to this video series, I read all of the previous issues to the books that you see on screen right now, so that way I can tell you what books I am most excited to pick up, because I did not read any of the books that are dropping this week. I just read the previous issues to them. There is one book that I did not read the previous issue to, and that is No One issue number 9. Issue number 10 comes out this week, so that means No One cannot make the top 3 list. Alright guys, there are a few books that are getting close to the chopping block, but there are no books that are on the chopping block this week, so we can move right ahead to my cover lover picks. This is a great week for covers. There are so many awesome variant covers coming out this week. Let's kick this off with Something is Killing the Children, issue number 39 with the cover B, and the 1:25 ratio variant, which is a black and white with a little color splash, done by Jenny Frison. Now the color is epic. She's covered in blood. It's got this awesome moon behind her with those like maple leaves. It looks fantastic. But then you strip the color out and then you highlight her green eyes. It is so good. Jenny Frison crushed this cover. Now next up is Green Arrow issue number 14, the cover B, done by John Jang. This is probably one of my favorite John Jangs like ever. This is really good in my opinion. The Emerald Archer just looks fantastic. Now guys, next up is Harley Quinn issue number 42 with the cover C, done by Ben Harvey. Ben Harvey's name gets said a lot on this channel because I think his artwork is incredible, and this one featuring Harley Quinn in her 2 hyenas is so great. And it's also awesome seeing Ben Harvey doing some DC covers and not just Marvel. Alright guys, next up are my 3 favorite Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles issue number 1 variant covers dropping this week. I'm so excited to get my hands on this book. The first one up is the cover E, done by Carrie Randolph. It's probably my favorite besides the 1 in 500, which we're going to talk about in just a second. But this one, I don't know, the turtles look the best in my opinion. They are like them themselves. And some of the other covers, they just look a little different, and I don't like that. But this one right here is fantastic. Carrie Randolph, you did a great job. Next up is the cover H, done by Joelle Jones. It's Joelle Jones. She's doing the interior. She did 2 covers, and this cover featuring Raphael is just freaking amazing. This is a great cover. I also love that it's black, so it'll be a little hard to get in a 9.8, but that's okay because I like a challenge. Alright guys, the final cover that is my favorite from all the covers, and I believe there's over 100 variants coming out for this book, which is insane, but this is the 1 in 500. You heard that right. 500 ratio variant done by Sean Murphy. Why? Why did they have to make this a 1 in 500? Why not make this like a 1 in 100? That way more people can get their hands on it, because this is like by far the best variant cover in my opinion. It is so good. All right, guys, we got to move on to some other books. Next up is NYX issue number 1. Now, there are some okay covers coming out that are not exclusives, but there is one exclusive that I really like. This is the one from KRS Comics. There is a trade dress, and there is a virgin, and it's done by Ji Hung Lee. I think I'm falling in love more and more with Ji Hung Lee's artwork, because this one featuring NYX is so good, and it's not overly slutty. It's not. It's like tastefully slutty. It's really good. All right, guys, next up, if you guys are fans of the channel, you will know why I like this cover. This is Batman the Brave and the Bold, issue number 15, with the cover C, done by Dan Hipp. You got Booster Gold, and then you got all of the, what are they called? Jurassic Leaguers on his sweatshirt, and then his freeze pop. That is so good. I love this cover. I'm a huge fan of Dan Hipp. It's just, I don't know, his art style speaks to me. All right, guys, next up is Universal Monsters Creature from the Black Lagoon Lives, issue number 4, with the cover B and the 1:25 black and white ratio variant, done by Jenny Frison. That's 2 books that she has the cover B with a 1:25 black and white ratio variant, and they're just both so fantastic. All right, guys, we have, well, how many more covers? 4 more covers to talk about. Next up is Strange Academy Blood Hunt, issue number 3, with the variant cover done by Mark Aspinall. I completely missed this cover during previews, but this cover is really good in my opinion, especially when you look up close at it. It's fantastic. I love the way Darmuno's son looks. I forgot his name. I read too many comics, but all the characters on this cover look really cool in my opinion. Now, one of my favorite covers of the week is Hello Darkness, issue number 1, the cover A. There are 2 other covers that are pretty cool, but this one is definitely my favorite, just the cover A, done by Paulo Rivera. So good. So good. All right, guys, after that is Berserker, A Face Full of Bullets, issue number 1, with the cover G, which is the 1/50 virgin, and then there is a cover H, which is a 1/100 Virgin foil variant done by Mumad Asrar. It's so good. His artwork is so incredible. I've started during my previews orders. I'll type in Mumad Asrar, and then I'll find all the covers that he did that month and just order them all as long as they're open order. And the same with Dyke Ruan, and the same with Scotty Young. Any of the artists that I need to have their covers, that's what I do every single month to make sure that I get their covers. Stupid fly. Next up, we have my final cover lover pick. This is The Addiction, Death of Your Life, issue number 1, with the cover A and the cover F, which is a 110 Virgin done by Art Germ. It's an Art Germ on an independent. That is stinking cool. I really like this cover. I think it's pretty freaking cool. I like there's a little bit of mystery with the shadow crossing her face. Really good art, Germ. All right, guys, those are my cover lover picks for this week. That means we got to move over and find out what new number 1 that I'm most excited about, but I'm pretty sure you guys already know. Before we talk about that new number 1 that I'm really excited about it, and I know you guys are too, I just gotta ask you guys, do me a favor and smash that like button. It really helps out the channel. It really does. So go ahead, smash the like button, and let's go ahead and check out that new number 1. All right, guys and gals, there are 4 new number 1s on my pull list this week, but I'm only gonna highlight 1. But we have to highlight the other ones because those are really cool as well. And I'm gonna ask you guys, why do I continue to add more new number 1s to my pull list? I keep telling you guys I'm trying to cut back so that way I can save money, read less, and I don't know. I'm sure there's other reasons that I've told you, but I keep adding more. But guys, look at these covers, and the stories are written by these amazing people, and I gotta read them. I gotta read them. So let's go ahead and cover the first 3 really quickly. And first up is Hello Darkness, issue number 1. This is a horror anthology series coming from Boom Studios. And the first 6 issues, I believe, are going to be written by Garth Ennis and Becky Coolan. And there's going to be Something is Killing the Children backup story in the first 6 issues. And guys, I believe, again, the first 6 issues are going to have covers by Paulo Rivera, and they're all freaking amazing. Issue number 4 was dropped in the Discord, which is linked down in the description below. I believe Ghost found it, and that cover is so good. Now guys, next up is Nemesis Rogues Gallery, issue number 1. Now this is the 2nd volume, but technically the 3rd volume, but this is the 2nd volume of the latest Nemesis story written by Mark Millar, and it is so good. Or I should say, Volume 1 was incredible. It's basically Batman, but he murders everyone. He's like the craziest villain ever. It's incredible. Mark Millar, I mean, he's so good. Now, the last one is The Nice House by the Sea, Not the Lake, issue number 1. This is written by James Tynion IV and has art by Alvaro Martinez Bueno. I really like the first volume. They're bringing it back for a second. I'm not sure if the second volume is going to have that same, I don't know, shock value, I guess, because there were so many like shocking moments in the first volume because it was a new story, but they're continuing it. So I'm really interested to see if they're going to be able to like keep us on that hook that the first one had us. I don't know. I'm not sure, but I'm really excited. But guys, the number 1 book that I am most excited about is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles issue number 1. Now, I've been talking about this book ever since the creative team has been announced. Now, it's an interesting creative team. The writer is Jason Aaron, and he's gonna write like the first run or arc, or maybe longer than that. I don't know how long he signed on for, but the artist is going to change with the first 4 issues. But the first one is gonna be drawn by Joelle Jones, and her artwork is so good. The second one is Raphael Albuquerque. The next one is Frank Cho, and I forget who the last one is, but Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles relaunching, and I am just like, I think everyone is, because this book has an order of over 300,000 copies have been ordered so far. That's incredible. The amount of variants are like mind-blowing. I'm not even going to show half of them. There are just like a list. If you go to League Comic Eats and like start scrolling down, it goes and goes and goes. There are so many variant covers because so many people are excited about this book. But guys, let me go ahead and read the synopsis to you guys real quick. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles have all left New York City to pursue their own interests, but there are forces gathering that will pull them back together, whether the bad guys like it or not. First up, Raphael. But why is everyone's favorite brawler in prison? When a surprise attack behind bars puts Raph's position in jeopardy, he needs to figure out how to get out of jail and warn his brothers that trouble is coming. Now, I believe there has been a little tease in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Alpha for this series. I didn't read it. It's in a box over there. I was supposed to read it before this, but that's okay. I didn't read it. I don't think I'm going to have to read it, but it's in the box if I do need to read it. But I am so excited for this. Guys, let me know down in the comments below if you're excited for a new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series written by Jason Aaron, and he has a good history, not a great history, a good history though, of telling an awesome epic tale. Just look at his Thor run. If he can do something like that on that scale for Turtles, oh, I want to swear. I want to use the big F word and just like, I'm just so excited. This is going to be awesome. And even this cover A done by Raphael Albuquerque is great. But guys, this is the one book that I cannot wait to get my hands on. It's immediately going to go to the top of the stack. I'll probably read it when it comes in next week because I have to. It's Turtles. Turtles is like my childhood. It's so great. But guys, that is a new number 1 that I think you guys have to be excited about. If you guys are half excited as I am, let me know down in the comments below. But let's go ahead and move over to the next section, which is my top 3 books that I think you guys have to be reading this week because the stories are so freaking good. Alright guys, the book that's in the number 3 spot is an independent title, and we're almost 40 issues into this series, and it was originally supposed to be a 6-issue miniseries, and then they extended it into an ongoing, and it's bloomed out into its own universe. And for a little while, I thought the story was getting a little weak, but ever since the last story arc ended, and they've been doing these one-shots, the story has kind of been like reinvigorated. I'm really into the story. And guys, I'm talking about Something is Killing the Children. Issue number 39 comes out this week. This is coming from the writer of James Tynion IV and art by Werther Dell'Edera. Guys, this story, especially since the one-shots have started, I think they're calling them the year 1 one-shots. They've really invigorated me again into this series. I'm really excited. Erica Slaughter is such a badass, and the art by Werther Dell'Edera is so good. When you see his artwork, or I should say, you see someone else doing Erica Slaughter, it's almost wrong. You're doing it wrong. You're not doing it like you're supposed to do it. But then you see him do it, and it's just like, that is the perfect Erica Slaughter. But the storytelling over these last one-shots have been really good by James Tynion IV. I especially like the one from 37, I believe, which was in a department store. It was amazing. But this last issue, issue number 38, which I read, I believe yesterday, was incredible. It wasn't good as 37, but 38 was really good. It just dealt with like these little kids running into Erica Slaughter, and Erica Slaughter just dealing with the fact, helping them kill this monster, and, you know, her convincing the Order of St. George not to like come in and like decimate this town. And she had total control of the situation, and it was freaking awesome. It was just like classic Erica Slaughter goodness, and I freaking loved it. Now, issue number 39 is going to be the final one-shot. Issue number 40 is going to kick off the next story arc with Erica Slaughter, which, you know, we're all really excited to see what's going to happen to the whole Order of St. George and Erica Slaughter and everyone else. But these one-shots have been really great. And guys, the variant covers for this issue are so good. I already showed you guys the cover B and the 1 in 25 black and white, but there's a gold foil, which is really good. There's an FOC one that's really good. There is a 1 in 50 done by Riley Rusimo and a 1 in 75 version of the cover A. They're all great. Something is Killing the Children, I think, is starting to build its steam back up, and I'm just really excited to see where this whole like series is going to go, and maybe the world will start to get really cool again. I'm pumped for this series again. Are you guys excited about it too? Guys, let me know down in the comments below. All right, guys, let's go ahead and find out what my number 2 is. Alright guys, the number 2 book stays on the indie train, and we're talking about Universal Monsters Creature from the Black Lagoon Lives, issue number 4. This is coming from the writers of Dan Waiters and Ron V. It has art by Dave Stewart and Matthew Roberts. I read issues number 2 and 3 yesterday, so I had to read 2 issues to get caught up. This is the final issue, issue number 4, and the story is so much better than I thought it was going to be. I liked the Dracula series done by James Tynion IV. It was okay. But this series about the creature from the Black Lagoon is really, really good. And the twist at the end of issue number 3, I did not see coming at all. I will admit, I never watched the Creature from the Black Lagoon movie. Like, I'm sure there's classic horror movies that people will say, Bruce, you have to go back and watch it. I'm not a big monster movie guy, but I'm a monster book guy. The books are so good, and this story just follows this girl that had to run in with a serial killer in the United States. This guy fled to the Amazon. This girl followed him in the hopes to be able to capture him and bring him back and bring him to trial. But then she has a run-in with the Creature from the Black Lagoon, and she doesn't know what to do. She doesn't want to believe it. There's other people that are helping her, and then there's this whole serial killer that's out there, and you didn't think he was going to be a big part of the book, because in issue number 1 and 2, but in issue number 3, he becomes a much larger part of the story. It is so good. It is so good. There was a very brief, loose synopsis, and I probably did a terrible job, but the art by Dave Stewart and Matthew Roberts is really, really good, and the writing by Dan Waiters and Ron V is incredible. There are some amazing covers for every single issue. In this one, we got another Jenny Frison cover B in 1 in 25 black and white, and there is the 1 in 10 by Danny, which is okay. I don't love that one. Or maybe it's not Danny. I don't know. I'll put the artist up on screen to make sure you guys know who it is. But guys, those Frison covers are so good. But guys, you have to be reading this series. It's so good. It's a 4-issue mini. Pick it up, have fun, or I guess you could wait till trade. I guess you could do that too. But if you like amazing covers, you like horror, check this book out. All right, guys, that is the number 2 book. Let's go ahead and find out my number 1 book that I think you guys have to be picking up this week, because this story is gonna be the best. Alright guys, the number 1 book is not on the indie train, so we're going to have to hop off that and jump on the DC train, because there is a book over at DC Comics that I picked up that I thought was going to be a pure cover buy. But I figured, you know what? I bought it. I might as well read it. Maybe it's going to be good, because the covers for the next few issues are incredible, so I'm going to be buying those as well. And I'm so glad I did read it, because this story was so well told. Guys, I'm talking about Zatanna, Bring Down the House, issue number 2. Now this is coming from the writer of Mariko Tamaki and has art by Javier Rodriguez. And guys, this story was so good. Like, way better than I thought it was going to be. Let me go ahead and give you a very brief synopsis of the first issue. And before I even do that, I want to tell you guys, the art by Javier Rodriguez is like probably the selling point of this book. He has a very unique style, but the way he did his panel layouts for every single page was so good. The designs, like it was basically like just amazing layout design for every single page. It really sucked you into the story and got you really engaged. And that doesn't happen with every single comic book. Like it was just so beautifully done. Like I was like impressed with every single page. It was so good. And I don't really love his character design so much. It definitely fit this book and this story really, really well. And it wouldn't fit everything else, but his layouts were so good. It was so good. But guys, this story was also awesome. Issue number 1 starts off with Zatanna as a kid trying to do a magic trick for her friends to impress them, and it fails. And you realize she doesn't know magic just yet. But then she goes inside and speaks to her father and says, hey, can you give me real magic or teach me real magic so that way I can go impress these twerps that are making fun of me? And then, you know, it jumps forward in time and now she is in Vegas and she's doing her own thing. And then in like, you know, we go through a little bit of her life. There's something weird going on. And then we jump back in time to this moment where she's with the kids again. And you can tell something has changed about her. And she does this trick and then something really bad happens, like really bad. And then we jump back into the future and she's again at her show and she's about to go on and she noticed this person has been showing up at her show for the last few times, but she's not a big name. She is not at the biggest hotel in Las Vegas. She does like this free show at this little hotel and no one usually shows up for her show, but this person is showing up over and over again and it freaks her out. And I'm not going to say anything else because I don't want to ruin anything else. But basically, she doesn't want to do real magic. She's trying to stay away from real magic and she's only doing sleight of hand stuff. And it's really cool what happens. I love DC Black Label when they can actually hit it home, and this story hit it home. I'm not a huge Zatanna fan. I never have been. I hate that she talks backwards. I think it's super annoying to read, trying to figure out what she's like trying to say or the spell she's trying to do. But it's still, this story so far is incredible. Art was great, story was great. The covers, guys, the covers have been amazing so far. The covers for issue number 2, there is a cover B in a 1 in 25 version, but done by Jenny Frison, which I don't love. The eyes are really big and kind of far apart, and her forehead kind of looks like her square, I should say her face. Don't love that at all, but there is a cover C done by Ariel Diaz, which is pretty good. And then there is an exclusive that you can pick up from 3 different places. I'll have that up on screen so that way you guys can know where to go hunt, and I'll also have that link down in the description below, done by Sozo Micah, which is really freaking good. I believe it goes for 30 bucks. I did not pick myself up a copy of this. I'm shocked at myself too, but I'm trying to save money for Terrificon. I've done a really good job of doing that so far. Haven't picked up any like ratio books over the last week, and that's really hard for me because I always usually pick up a couple. But guys, that is the number 1 book that I think you guys have to be reading this week. It really was that good. I hope you guys give this book a chance. If you were picking up just for covers like I was, give it a read. It was really, really good. I should say issue number 1. Had to be really excited for issue number 2. All right, guys, that is the top 3 books this week. Let's go ahead and cover the not top 3, but the books you gotta see. Alright guys, if you're new to the channel and you have no idea what the not top 3 but the books you're going to see is all about, it's just me going through all the rest of the books that are on my pull list that I did read. And I want to give you guys a little bit of information about the book, why it's good, great, maybe not so great, maybe why it's so close to the chopping block, stuff like that. Because if I'm reading all these books, I might as well give you a little bit of information about each one. I know my videos are really long. I apologize about that. I have no idea how I can cram all this information in a short amount of time. But maybe I'll try that next week. But right now, let's go ahead and dive into the not top 3, but the books you gotta see. And first up is Absolute Power Task Force 7, issue number 2. Now, I read issue number 1, and I gotta tell you guys, I did not enjoy it at all. Like, at all. It was written by Leah Williams, and I just looked, and the next issue is gonna be written by someone else, and there's gonna be 7 issues of this. Maybe we're gonna get 7 different writers with these robots chasing down other heroes, taking their powers away and locking them away, because that's pretty much what happened in the first issue. It didn't have great art. The story was kind of weak. I was bored. I'm not sure if anyone should be picking this up. There are some really cool covers for every single issue, but outside that, I think everyone should be skipping this book, and I'm probably going to chop it or I'll continue picking it up for the covers because I really like the Dan Mora design variant ones, and that's how I'm picking this one up, because I got the design variant one. But guys, let's go ahead and move on. The next one up is Batman the Brave and the Bold, issue number 15. This is an anthology series. I don't love every single story in it. In this last one, I liked the Booster Gold one, which was when him going back and dealing with the Jurassic League, which was a lot of fun, and it's going to continue into the next one. And there's been some other stories. The one with Batman and Guy Gardner in this one was really good as well, dealing with an alien, and the other two stories I did not like. So not every single issue is a home run, but the covers by Simon DeMeo has been so good, and overall I've enjoyed a lot of the story, so I'm going to continue picking this up. Next up, Detective Comics issue number 1087. I'm not reading this series currently, I'm just picking it up to complete my Detective Comics run, but I will start reading it when a new creative team does start on this book. Next up, Dick Tracy issue number 3. Issues number 1 and 2 were okay. This is another book that's creeping closer to the chopping block. I initially picked this up because it was a huge nostalgia book for me, huge nostalgia book, but I'm not loving it, and I need to whittle down my list, but it's okay. It's an okay detective book. Next up, Green Arrow issue number 14. I don't love what they're doing with Green Arrow. Why do they always do this? He's a hero. He should stay a hero, but they keep taking him and making him a slight villain. It makes no sense, like at all. But they do this to this character all the time. I hate it. I really hate it. It's so dumb. But we do have his whole family. The Arrow family is back. It's awesome. They're all together. And I just want Oliver Queen to stop being a real big dum-dum, turning evil, and then having his family bring him back to the good side. It's really dumb. Next up is King Spawn, issue number 36. This series continues to impress. Ever since I started reading it with like issue number 30, every single issue has been fantastic. Cannot wait to read the next one. Next up is Rook Exodus issue number 4. This series is really good. Issue number 3 almost made this book make the top 3 list, but there was something formulaic about issue number 3 that I did not love, but I did really enjoy seeing some new wardens in this issue. It was a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun, and I love the unnamed universe that is being built at the Ghost Machine imprint. There are so many cool books and stories being told. I'm really excited to see where this series is going to go long term. But guys, next up is The Sacrificers issue number 10. Rick Remender is telling such a freaking amazing story. I did not completely love issue number 9. It features one of the characters that was supposed to be sacrificed. He gets god powers and he starts like killing gods. It was okay, but this next issue is dealing with one of the characters that was a daughter to one of the gods, and she had her powers taken from her. That's where this other sacrificer got his powers from, and she is like reeling. And like she's mortal now, and she's weak and feeble, and she's like reeling with the fact, or dealing with the fact that she has no powers, and like it's awesome. It's such a great part of the story, so that's why I'm really excited for issue number 10. So guys, Something Epic issue number 12 is the final issue of this next story arc, and this story arc has been so good. We dealt with an epic in issue number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that epic was kind of cool. But there is this next epic that we've been dealing with since issue number 7 to issue number 12, and she's the detective, and she's like been working with a duck, like a duck detective. It's been really, really good. I really enjoyed this series. It's very Tom King in the way that it's very wordy. Every issue takes like 20 minutes to read because there's just so much dialogue, but the dialogue is really solid and the art is so great. It's written and drawn by Simon Kredinsky. It's a great book. You guys have to be reading it. Next up is Ultimate Black Panther issue number 6. This series is okay. It's not great. It's not bad. It's just good. I'm enjoying the series. It's a really cool Ultimate Universe take on Black Panther and Raw, and I forgot what the other bad guy's name is. It doesn't really matter. It's like Moon Knight and, man, I'm totally blanking on the other villain, but they're like teaming up to basically go after Black Panther, and it's pretty cool, and they're changing the mythos of some of the Black Panther stuff. It's cool. I like it. Next up, Vengeance of the Moon Knight, issue number 7. This is a must-read. This is another book that almost made the top 3 list. It almost does every single time. This last issue, this wasn't the strongest. It had an amazing ending, but the whole story was kind of, I don't know, it was okay until the end. You gotta be a great book from opening to close to make the top 3 list, and this one was just had a big, awesome ending. And the final book on the not top 3, but the books you gotta see is Void Rider Rivals, issue number 11. This is another book that almost made the top 3 list. In issue number 10, we found out that the two main characters, Solia and Draka, I want to say that's what their names are. I could completely be getting them wrong, but the two main characters from the two different planets that have these gems on their head are actually ports where you can get energon in. So they're not just humanoid, fleshoid creatures. There's some Cybertronian parts to them, which is so cool. So that's how these characters are part of the whole energon universe. So they're human and I guess robot together, which is so cool. I cannot wait to get more information of how they're Cybertronian. I don't know, it's gonna be so cool. And just the relationship between Solia and Draka is fantastic, and there's just so much to love about this book. Robert Kirkman is telling a great story. All right, guys, that is the not top 3, but the books you gotta see. Let's go ahead and wrap this video up. Alright guys, big week in comics once again. We got a huge new #1 coming out this week with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We got the Energon universe, Unnamed universe, Something is Killing the Children universe, all telling amazing stories. And then, Santana, Bring Down the House. What a surprise book. That book was so good. Issue number 1, I should say. Issue number 2 is just a book that I'm really excited to get my hands on. Because again, guys, the layouts in the story was like so good and engaging. That's the part. It sucked you into the story. And the story by Mariko Tamake was just so great. So great. This was a great week to read the previous issues because so many of the stories were awesome. And yeah, that's gonna do it for today's video. Now, if you guys have been watching from the beginning of this video all the way until this point right now, you guys are legends. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. Now, if you guys watch that video and you enjoy comic book content, but you're not subscribed, I'm just gonna say, what are you doing? Get yourself subscribed, hit that bell for notification, and, or I should say, smack that like button. All right, guys, have yourself a great new comic book day tomorrow, and I will catch you guys on Thursday or Friday with my final order cutoff, speculation, and recommendation video. I don't know why I did an accent. I don't know. I'm crazy. All right, guys, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.